How's it going, everyone? It's Milwaukee coming back at you once again, and today we're going to be discussing Mr. Terrific Mind Games by Eric Wallace with art by Gianluca Guffolata. I'll put the name here. I wrote it down wrong. After catching us up on the death of his wife, Michael Holt, aka Mr. Terrific, aka the third smartest man in the world, takes on Brainstorm. He defeats Brainstorm and learns the true nature of his wife's death. Then he goes on to get captured and he takes on the Krill Empire and frees a bunch of alien slaves. Then Mr. Terrific battles the Tomorrow Thief. Then he has to dismantle a nuclear bomb on a ghost ship. Wrapping up this volume, he takes on a villain known as Digitus and he embarks on a journey of science. So that's Mr. Terrific Mind Games, the one and only volume of this New 52 series right there for you in a nutshell. What do I think of it? I think the best thing that this volume had going for it, the story I should say, is the subplot of the corporate espionage just going on behind the scenes. You see, you got the board members, they're concerned about Michael Holt, the third smartest man in the world. They don't know he's Mr. Terrific, but he disappears a lot, and they're like, oh, this is affecting the bottom line. If only he would, name his successor, because remember, his wife and son died. She was pregnant at the time. He didn't realize it until it was too late. And so he never named a successor for Holt Industries or whatever it's called. And he has this one main rival there that ends up teaming up with a rival corporation. And then there's like all these different tactics of Mr. Terrific. He's dating this woman who works for, Star Corporation or whatever. And there's just a whole bunch of stuff going on in the background because, the most of the stuff is the Mr. Terrific stuff. And that stuff is kind of lame, if I'm being honest. So it was really like that background stuff that grabbed me with this volume. Another thing that this volume had going for it is the fact that, Mr. Terrific, Michael Holt, he was going to commit suicide after yet another failed science experiment. He didn't feel like he had the motivation anymore. His wife and son had died. He didn't want to live. And then before he could go through with his plan, his son contacts him, via science from like another plane of existence or portal or whatever. And that's how Michael decides to become Mr. Terrific. And this whole time he's working towards, reuniting with his son via science, going into the ninth dimension or whatever, how he teleports through space. So yeah, that was an interesting hook, but ultimately it went nowhere. Now, as for some negatives, I got a few. This book was canceled for a reason, after all. Who is, Mr. Terrific? I don't know. I've seen him around the DCU, typically with the Justice Society. I've never really been a fan of him. I didn't hate him, but he's just always sort of been there, a background player. And here he got his first book that I know of, at least, and they didn't really give us a reason to care. I still don't know who he is, other than he's the third smartest man in the world, which they kept harping on over and over and over. But still, no reason to care. I thought the hook with the sun was interesting, but it ultimately didn't lead anywhere, because I guess the book got canceled before it could, go somewhere with that plot line. But, and with Mr. Terrific being the third smartest man in the world, he's always solving these battles and these crimes with, like, his smartness. And, like, there's a lot of gobbledygook in here that just makes your eyes glaze over while he's trying to explain how he solved this thing. And you're just like, whatever, the villain's defeated, I guess. Next page. I felt like it hurt the book because I like to think I'm a pretty smart guy. You may beg to differ, but whatever. And I was just like, okay, these solutions, I don't care. I'd rather just have you punch the guy out at this point than try to come up with these scientific ways of how you're shifting his molecular structure so that he, melts or whatever. It's like, what? Who cares? Not interesting. The art, I will say, while it's serviceable at best, there's a lot of strange art perspectives. Like, we get a lot of these shots where it's like the characters are always looking up into the sky and they got this big head, big torso, but like small legs. I see that over and over again. I don't know why the artist made that choice. Perhaps that's just their style or what they were told to do to make things seem big or humanity seem small or insignificant to the power of science or whatever. But just didn't really work for me. Wasn't a fan of the art. Uh, Although some of it was nice. And the biggest thing I didn't like about this volume, it's going to be a little bit controversial, but it was the constant reminder that Mr. Terrific is black. Uh, there's a scene early on in the first issue where Mr. Terrific, he's battling this guy in London, England. He saves these group of people on the big Ferris wheel, the London Eye, and this young kid, he's like, "Ooh, a new superhero. What do I call you?" And he's like, "How about the black guy that just saved your ass?" And it's like, come on. Obviously, the young kid, he didn't know who Mr. Terrific was. Mr. Terrific, he's operating in America. The kid's excited to see a superhero. And instead of saying, "Oh, I'm Mr. Terrific, tell everybody all about me," he's like, "I'm the black guy that just saved your ass." It's like, come on. And there's multiple stuff like this throughout the story. With the corporate espionage storyline. Mr. T, he's dating a white woman named, like, Karen Starr, I believe her name is. It's Power Girl, but she's not revealed to be Power Girl in this volume. And, we all know Power Girl. She's got, this incredible Kryptonian figure, right? But his Mr. Terrific's secretary, she likes Mr. Terrific. She feels tragic about his wife's death, and she wants to be there for him. But she's all like, "Oh, I can't compete with you, Karen. Not only are you smart, are you rich, but you're white, and I just can't compete, in the eyes of, Mr. Terrific with you. But I'm a black woman, and I'm built stronger than you'll ever know." And it's like, come on. And there's like this cringe line in the book where Mr. Terrific, he's freeing all these slaves, of course, in space, and he's like, "Why don't you want to piss off an angry black man in space?" Or it's some type of line. And I was just like, really? Is this the type of stuff that, black comic readers want to read? I know for me it's a turnoff, but I don't really care. But it's just like, you had an opportunity here to make a good character, a good hero, a good comic book, but instead you just took the whole, the black thing, and it's just like, nobody wants to read that. It doesn't help when you're lecturing the reader about, slavery in the United States and the characters in space freeing slaves. It's like, it just takes you out of the book. You may feel differently. Maybe you're there, you're loving it, you're a black reader, you love Mr. Terrific, you're like, yeah, you're doing like the Black Power fist, every reference he makes. But then again, the book got canceled, nobody bought it, nobody cares, so perhaps that wasn't exactly happening. Anyway, all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give Mr. Terrific Mind Games a 3 out of 5. There was some good stuff here. I really enjoyed, like I said, the corporate espionage storyline. Power Girl being here really added something to the book. I know this storyline is going to continue, I believe, in World's Finest, Power Girl and Huntress, but I'm not exactly sure on that, so I think the best part of the book will continue on. Mr. Terrific, like I said, he didn't really do anything for me to care about his character or anything that happened to him, and he just scienced his way out of every issue, every problem he had, and it was boring, but maybe somebody out there liked it. Not the worst thing I've ever read, but the book was canceled for a reason, and we'll see what happens in the future with it. I know there's a new Mr. Terrific series that's longer running than this one, and maybe it's just a new 52 stink, this version of the character that didn't take off. But until next time, I'll see you there.